Okay, we are starting the recording. Welcome to the weekly Phrancko Sweater Knitters meeting. You can generate a sweater pattern that is custom fit for you at phrancko.com. And all of these people you see on your screen have done that. And we like to meet together and just enjoy each other's company as we work, some on Phrancko sweaters and some on other things. So welcome, everyone. Hi, Mary.
Good morning.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hi, Sidra.
Hello.
Hi, Wally.
Hello.
Hi, Cathy.
Hi.
Hi, Judith.
Hello, bonsoir.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Serena.
Hello.
And hello, Rana.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited. I finished the kangaroo pocket on my trial hoodie.
Oh,
good.
So I'm just going to start by showing you all that. I really like how it came out.
Good.
Good.
Oh, a little
There
higher.
you go.
Hold it up a little more.
A little higher.
Oh,
Very nice.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very nice.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Yay.
Where's the center?
You're on the
There
right
it
side.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. Now it's underneath your chin. There you
There
go.
you
Now I
go.
can see it. Good.
Yep. Nice.
Ah,
That's great.
very nice.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Oh, very
And
good.
one of the things I wanted to do with it was to make sure not only your hand fit in, but there was also some depth in the
Mm.
pocket. So
Yeah.
if you put something in it, it won't roll out through the handhold.
Mm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Good.
So I really like how it turned out.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Now
So-
I just have to rip out the hood and make it again.
Yeah.
because The hood is ridiculous. It was way too
Was
large.
this the one that was too big or too little?
It's the one that was too big.
Oh, okay. Mm.
So for the making the depth in the pocket, how did you do that? Did you use some short rows behind there or?
No, it's kind of hard to describe. The top part of the pocket, the body is connected to the back of what you're knitting.
Yes.
And so you're knitting, you start with picking up stitches across the backs of some of the top ones, and you're knitting the flap that's going over the top that create the handholds.
Mhm.
And
Oh, right.
then
I see.
that has to become the body stitches. And so a
Mhm.
magical swapping of needles happens as you knit across the one that wasn't the one that you were knitting across before. And then you free up the needle that was holding those. And then you knit across the body stitches that are now going to be on the back.
Mhm.
And so now you can knit the body in the round, and it's knitting the front of the pocket. And you've got stitches on a separate needle
Right.
to just create the back. And
Right.
the back is created with garter stitches at each end. It's stockinette, but one garter stitch all the way down
Mhm.
each end, because it makes extra bumps that go down the selvage edges. You knit the body, and each time you come across the pocket, you pick up a stitch from the bump on each end. So
Oh.
as you're knitting the body, the back flap that you created first gets incorporated into the body
Right. Right.
behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I
Very
think
cool.
it's easier to read the directions and just do them one phrase at a time than it is for me to
Mhm.
describe that with my hands going up in the air.
One of those things that's easier done than said.
Something like that. Yes. Oh, and so while I'm on it, here's my new yarn. It came. I
Ooh,
now
that's a
am ready
pretty
to
color.
start my my new sweater. The new hoodie will be this one, and this is the one that will be published in
That's
Cast
pretty.
On
That's a
magazine.
nice color.
I
It's a
love
pretty
this
color,
color.
yeah.
That's
It's-
a great color.
It's a slightly gray burgundy. It's not a bright
Beautiful.
burgundy. I love it.
Mhm. Very nice.
That would go good with your complexion too.
Oh, well, thank you. Then I should make it for me.
Yes, you should.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, I think the first one's going to become my husband's because it's actually longer than I thought it was going to be. And even then I reduced the pocket by an inch. The depth of the pocket is only 2 inches, not 3 as I was intending. It turned out that I had to do more rows for the pocket opening than I had anticipated. It wasn't big enough at first, so I had to add extra rows beyond what I had originally designed.
Mm.
So then I made the pocket less deep to try to compensate for the extra rows I'd picked up.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at one of my sweatshirts that I have that has a pocket like that, and it's not hand knitted or anything, but just one. And the depth of the pocket and stuff stays in really pretty good is only about 1.5 inches at the bottom.
Is that right? Oh,
Mhm.
interesting.
I've never had anything fall out, so
Yeah. Yeah, 2 inches might be enough, actually.
I'm thinking it might.
I
I was
think-
surprised because it always worked really well, and so I thought, how big is that? And measured.
At the men's knitting retreat last week, there were several people who had hoodies. And some of them were knitted and some of them were just garments that were bought. And so I asked them if they would help me figure out the dimensions of the hood and the hoodie. And so we laid them all flat so that the face was on one side and the back of the head was on the other, and measured across from front to back. And every one of them was 9 inches.
Really?
And
Oh,
I measured the one that I created thinking it needed to be larger. And it was like 15 inches front to back. That's why it's this humongous thing that just drapes everywhere, pulls down over my face like this.
Can you
Are
felt it?
you-
I felt just the hood.
Yeah, just felt the hood and leave the rest.
A Yoda hood.
No, I'm going to rip it out and do it again. And it turns out the original one that was too tight is exactly 9 inches from
Ah.
front to back. It just isn't long enough.
Ah.
And
Oh,
that's what made it hug my face. If it was longer, it would have been looser on the sides of my face,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
So it's that ratio that's important of the
That's
length
right.
to the
Yeah.
depth.
Yes.
Because
So it's been
when-
quite an adventure to design this
Yeah.
hoodie. I've enjoyed doing both the pocket and the hood.
There
Who
was
gonna
an
say
ad
something?
on. Huh?
Who was saying something?
Oh, me, Cathy.
Yeah.
There was an ad on Ravelry when I was poking around Ravelry the other day, and it was a knitted hoodie. So I looked at it
Oh,
and I thought it was interesting. It was a very pretty girl modeling it. And they showed they showed the hood on her with her hair going out on either side, but they showed no pictures of the hood at all. So who knows if it was actually correct.
oh yeah. Yeah, if I put this on and throw the hood back, you'd never know that it was
Exactly.
completely ridiculous.
Her hair was over the hood in every single picture.
I
Oh
always
my.
wonder about that when photos are taken of garments like this, and sort of like, what are you hiding with that hair? You often see that the hair is like over the shoulder, so you don't know what's going on here at
That's
the shoulder
right.
and armpit, and just like put that in a ponytail. We're supposed to be wanting to see the garment. What is?
Yeah.
that happens a lot.
Yeah,
Well, was that hoodie how do I say this? Many of the hoodie patterns that I've seen on Ravelry have been definitely for a woman. They
No,
had
this one was,
patterns,
well,
or
it was
this a
white.
plain
It
one?
was, it was
white-
plain.
White and plain?
White and
Okay,
Plain.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. But I mean, so it was definitely a professional like publication that did it. I don't remember what it was, but they
Uh-huh.
had the young pretty girl modeling, and and sometimes you wonder, well, did the sample knitter screw it up? Was the design wrong? Who knows? And then they go back and fix it, but they don't put it in the pictures because they haven't fixed it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got a photo shoot deadline and
That's right. Yes.
like that. I always wonder, should I, if I'm a professional and I've got this professional software, I just really have a hard time saying, well, I really ought to have young, pretty women modeling all the stuff because it's personalized. And even though it might sell better, I don't know. It's not exactly an ethical thing, but maybe it's just because I like being exact.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I prefer seeing, normal people, big and small. And,
Yeah.
why did you
Mm.
choose that? You don't look very good in that. It's
Yeah.
not, you did something wrong there. It's like you could have improved on something on that thing, or that looks really awesome on you. I prefer that
Yeah.
in the models.
The
Knitwear fashion
recent,
show is driving me up the wall.
the recent web magazine has a lot of ladies in there that are modeling, and they're quite stout, some of them.
Right. All the way up to a size 14, if you can believe it.
Yeah, right. So,
How do you live at that size?
I don't. I thought we were all supposed.
Thanks, Ron.
Well, did you
Look at
watch?
me.
Did you watch any of the Zoom meetings people had on the what do you call it? The New York Fiber Fest there, Vogue. Every one of those girls were a size 1. I mean, like,
Oh,
who wears that?
People
I-
who are size 1.
Yeah,
Very small people.
yeah,
Very small.
very.
When I see a pattern I like on Ravelry, I'll go and check out the projects, see how many there are, and are there any real people wearing them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because that tells you, what's happening with the pattern a lot of times. And if nobody's wearing them, all
Right.
you see is a snip here and a snip there, and it's laying on a blocking board or whatever. I really kind of question it.
Hmm.
So the ones that people are wearing it really tells you a lot.
yes.
Well, I know there are some of the designers that I've seen. Jen Pericini is one that she posts pictures with their permission of the testers wearing the sweaters when she releases it, and they say which size they did and any modifications they made, if they did bust darts or if they lengthened this or if they made the sleeves wider or whatever, so that you can see what it looks like at all the different sizes. And she does have people in all the different sizes, and she's very size inclusive, test her patterns. And I appreciate that, because it's like, okay, yes, maybe it would look okay on a 12-year-old that weighs 95 pounds, but
Mm.
what's it going to look like on me?
Mhm. And how much modification am I going to have to do?
Yeah.
That's the other.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah, the best ones are when they say the model has a bust of 36 inches, and if it's appropriate, they might say in the hips of 42. And they sometimes will say the height of the model. Those are the best.
Well, that's a good idea. I can do that. I could do that. I know all that
Plus-
information.
Plus the size, because then so then you get an idea what that size looks like on that size person.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what Jen does, and she'll say how many inches of ease the person did, because sometimes the testers will be one size, but they wanted more ease or less ease, and so they chose less. And so she'll show that it's like, yes, this is shown with 2 inches of ease or 6 inches of ease or whatever it is, and it does say the person's size and the size that they knit, so their measurements. So
that's
you can really tell.
Mhm.
And she has them have the pictures from the front and from the side so that you can actually see the armhole and the neck I hate that too with the really big, huge, voluminous hair. And it's kind of like, but I can't see the shoulders, but I also can't even see the neck, you know?
I love
is
your
it low? Is it up
extensions.
high?
What is the sweater like, please?
I especially like the ones that have a schematic also, because that will tell you a lot.
The schematic helps a bunch, yes, it
Yeah.
does.
On Phrancko.com, it's very important to check the schematic before you buy this sweater. It shows at the last step before you put in your credit card to purchase the pattern. And so I try to encourage people to really pay attention to the numbers on that schematic. It's not drawn to scale, so if you have extremely long arms, it doesn't look like they're long on the schematic. It's the same image. But if you see your arms are 46 inches long, maybe you put in your chest measurement there instead.
Right.
So would you say you need to swatch before you put in your?
Your
Do you put in
measurement?
your gauge?
Yes, you put in your gauge, and you
Yeah.
should swatch,
okay.
and also block the swatch. So
Yeah,
that
okay.
you know the finished size, because that's the size the sweater will be after you block it.
I was hoping my friend was here. I told a friend about you, and we're gonna try to knit the baby sweater together and
Oh,
Fun.
see if we can figure it all out. And then I think she's interested in putting in some figures for a sweater. We'll see.
cool.
But she couldn't make it today.
Exciting.
Haven't you knitted one, Karen?
I haven't. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you did.
I have a baby sweater in my account and I never got to it.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I even purchased it. I just have it sitting there
Well,
waiting to edit or purchase.
you're welcome to the meeting anyway. All you have to have is an interest in the sweater, and that entitles you to free admission to this weekly meeting.
I definitely do. I love the whole concept, and it's like a middle way between designing your own and following a pattern. So
Along that line, I've got about 3 different swatches of different designs that I want to incorporate on the front of the sweater. Can you talk a little bit about gauge as far as a design versus stockinette and the best way to go about that?
How do you want to mix the designs?
I want it on the front from the neck down.
And so the front neck down is a different design than you're putting on the back.
Yes, it's just regular stockinette on the back, but I want
Stockinette on the back.
some designs on the front
Wow.
from top
But-
to bottom.
That's,
But what kind of a design do you mean, Rhonda? Because if it's just like a different stitch pattern, that's the same gauge as your stockinette, then it should work.
Yeah, well, it's not the same gauge.
Okay,
that's the problem.
then you
yeah.
have to
So-
do stitch equivalency.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's what I want you to,
You're going to have to figure out how to have the equivalent number of the right number of stitches to make the same width of fabric that the stockinette is.
so in other words, take the pattern, make a swatch with that pattern, block it, and then same thing with the stockinette, and then see how many stitches are different.
That would be, yeah, that would be one way to do it. That would let the computer calculate the numbers for you. It's not going to tell you how to pick up the stitches at the shoulder, though. So the first thing that comes to mind is you're going to have one set of stitches across the shoulder to knit the back.
Mhm.
In this case, I'm doing Aran weight. So I only have 20 stitches across the shoulder for the back. If it was then 25 stitches across the front, then you've got a little bit of an issue. Like, how do you get those 25 stitches when there are only 20 stitches to pick up in the middle of?
Gotcha. Yeah.
But it isn't it's not an unsurmountable problem. You could say there was 4 stitches different. You pick up your 20 stitches for the front, and then in the very next row, increase 4 stitches,
Mm-hmm.
and then do your pattern from there.
Okay.
It's cable swatch 13C of level 2. I just did it. I did it like about 5 times, but I did it.
Another potential hazard to look out for is if the row gauges are substantially different.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that would be really a
armhole
lot.
shaping, that pace is dependent on your row gauge.
In that case, you'd have to follow the instructions
Yeah,
for the pattern on the front of the sleeve caps, and follow the increased stitches
yeah.
on the back from the other pattern that is for the stockinette stitch.
May wind
Yeah,
up
that
having
would
to
be
do
hard.
short rows across either the front or the back to, if it's substantial. If it's a row or 2, gravity will probably do that for you.
Yeah,
I think if I start a pattern after I finish the top, the caps and everything.
yes. If you start the pattern after you have
Yeah.
after you've separated the sleeves,
Yeah.
then
Then
you
I
still
am.
might have to do some matching of the rows
Mhm.
somehow. You might have to,
Yeah, I didn't
like,
even think about the
yeah.
row.
but
Yeah.
you don't want the front to be shorter than the back, because the rows, the same number of rows are a different height.
Yep.
Ron, I
It will
think
just
you're,
depend on the stitch.
I think, yes, I think you've chosen one of the more difficult ways to do multiple stitches.
Well,
Um,
that's helpful though.
okay,
Thank you.
Well,
I
but
was-
it really will depend on the stitch that you choose, because
Yeah.
I was doing some of the swatching for Cathy's, the Knit Whiz swatch along. And you do one that's stockinette, and you do so many stitches in so many rows, and then you choose another stitch. And I just was flipping through one of the books, and I chose dot stitch. Well, I think it's kind of interesting, but it's very simple. It's very but the gauge is like almost exactly identical. So it would switch in really easy. It just depends on how different your gauge is.
right.
Mhm.
And there's another option too. You could, since it's a Phrancko and you could do the more interesting stitch up top. And then when you get a certain way around, just switch to the other stitch, switch to stockinette, or vice versa. But I think it'd look better especially if it's something cabled or heavy, to do that around the top and then switch to stockinette
Mhm.
at some point. Then you wouldn't have any of those issues.
Yeah, that's good thought.
Well,
Cathy,
whatever you do, we need you to write thorough notes. So we can all repeat what you did if we want.
that's good. Cathy, your Zoom class that you have on Thursdays, how long does it last?
Well, it's an hour, but sometimes it almost always
an
goes
hour.
an hour because we chat.
Mhm.
Right?
But it starts at 11.
Yeah, Pacific.
Okay. My problem is I have a Zoom meeting before that, and sometimes they don't get out in time to even try. So,
Oh no, just come on whenever if you feel like.
okay.
We're
Thank you.
always there.
Except for You won't be
Next
this
week.
next week, right?
Except next week.
Yeah.
But you can go, you can join anyway if somebody else is there, if you guys are there. But yeah, I won't be there next week. That's right. Stitches West.
Kathy, I'll see you on Friday.
Oh, yeah, good. Excellent. I
Maybe
was
Saturday,
hoping
but for sure
somebody
Friday.
would come, huh?
For sure Friday, but and maybe Saturday.
Oh, good, good. Well, be sure to stop in when I mean, my sister's there and my husband, but I'll be around if I'm not in the booth, but I should be in the booth most of the time.
Okay,
It's just, sometimes you got to get off your feet.
really? I've done shows, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I'm planning to
good,
do
that's
Kathy's Tuesday Zoom too. So she has a Tuesday and a Thursday.
oh, yes.
Oh, well, Tuesday I have my knitting group.
It's Tuesday night, but
Mm-hmm. It's for just a few weeks, and Serena's doing it this next 2 weeks.
Oh,
It's for the swatch along, and there is a prize involved. So anybody who enters can be.
if I go to
the
the
prize.
website, can I read about your swatch along?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about it, Kathy? Describe what that means. What is it? Or Serena, whoever wants to.
You do it, Serena.
Ah,
You're on the spot.
oh,
It's Serena's idea.
instead of making like a hat or finished object, you're making a swatch, and it's 2 specifications. So you do have to follow the instructions, which is using a US 7 or the millimeter equivalent. You have to have a yarn that's medium weight, which is worsted or medium weight, and it needs to have some wool in it because we'd like you to take a photo of your swatch before
And
it's blocked and after.
uh-huh. Well, that sounds great. I love swatching more than anything because I'm a process, not a product.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's just a fun way for us to learn how important gauge is, because
Mhm.
you can't be as successful if you're not swatching. And we were trying to make it fun
yeah.
by offering a prize, because some people it's like, no.
And I have to say, I started a swatch. I've got 4 rows done, and I'm trying to use the Norwegian technique that I learned. And Sumner was learning it, and I thought, I got to do something too. My fingers were killing me, and it just looks horrible. But I'm going to submit it.
Just be patient. It takes a
Practice,
long time to
practice.
learn that stuff.
Yeah, I have some rowing out between my purling and my knitting, but I figure if by the end of the gauge, I'll find out, if I can get it consistent. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
You can learn a lot through swatching, boy, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it would be fun to learn from each other doing a similar swatch.
Yes.
I thought that would be really interesting to see how that works for everybody as a group.
Mhm.
And so the swatch is all stockinette, everybody.
Yes.
The first
Yes,
one.
And so it would be really interesting to see. I see you, Cindy. Just a minute. Let me spotlight you. There you go.
all right.
There's her first one.
We don't hear you, Cindy.
Yeah, I was muted because I went in the other room to get the
Oh.
swatches. Here's the stockinette swatch, and this one actually is blocked. You're supposed to measure it first before it's blocked, and I did that and take a picture and then measure again. And I've got my little strings in it so I can measure correctly between stitches and do.
Mhm.
So that's the one. And then here is the other one that I did, which is the dot stitch. And this one's not blocked yet. I still have to take the picture of this one. So this is that dot stitch.
Oh,
Ooh, pretty.
Oh,
But
nice.
now it's the same number of stitches cast on and the same number of rows. It's just in that other dot stitch. But it's really amazing when I line it up with the other one, the gauge is just almost exactly the same. And it's the
Wow.
same length and the same width. So that's why I was saying, depending on which stitch you choose to do for like just the front, you know, you might luck out.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good way to
But
find
that was
out.
fun because I'd never done anything in this dot stitch before, but I like how it looks. It's
Beautiful.
kind of
Nice.
interesting.
And it
Yeah.
looks like you have a favorite color.
I do. Can you tell? Maybe I should make a hood. At least I know it needs to be 9 inches, right?
That's right. It's 9 inches. We know.
Yeah, because I have one on here. I can measure.
Oh, you could measure it. Wouldn't it be funny if it was 9 inches?
It would be funny if it was 9 inches. I bet it probably is. Yeah, so those are my 2 swatches for the knit along. Swatch along.
Well, thank you.
How does one get, is there a website or a?
Yes. I'll put it in the, I'll put the blog post in the chat. So then you can go from there, because for some reason on Ravelry, once the event starts, it disappears. Now, I don't know if we can get back to it. I was going to look at that and I haven't. So that's kind of a strange thing, but I will put it in the chat.
Thanks, Kathy.
Which means if I'm lucky, I will remember to get it out of chat and put it in the description of the video.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, by the way, Cathy, you ended up making the recording last week, right?
I did, and I haven't.
And I never got it from you, so I haven't posted last week's meeting.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
So we're still
Not
safe
your
for everything that
responsibility.
we said.
Right. Frank, how many people were in
Yes.
your group that you went to?
What's that?
How many people were in your group that you went to?
It was small this year. There were only 10 people. It was the Rocky Mountain Men's Knitting Retreat. There were 10 people, and I think I showed some pictures last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You showed us Frigid Frank.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let me see if I can find the picture of the group that was taken at the end. Let's see, photos. That's here somewhere, isn't it? Let's see.
Okay, sorry about that. My daughter was calling and I had to pick it up.
And
Oh,
links and
well, go ahead and talk among yourselves while I'm searching for the photo.
Ron, how'd the class go?
It was great. I think we've got a lot of really cool projects to look forward to. I was going to share with you some of my session 1 handouts that I gave. So everyone is home swatching this week, I hope. Otherwise, they're going to have a hard time tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll do our body measurements and our swatch gauge measurements. And so we've got some folks doing Fair Isle, some folks doing lace, and assorted combinations. So it's really exciting. I'll share a little bit more once I've finished this row.
Very creative, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's great. The fairly advanced students, they're really, really excellent, experienced knitters who are just sort of diving in to make, some of them are like specifically choosing something to challenge themselves or doing a technique that they haven't seen before, or they haven't done before rather. A technique they haven't seen before would be something. A technique they haven't done before, or sort of recreating a commercial sweater they saw, so there's some cool stuff going on. I can't wait to share updates with you as the class progresses.
maybe they'd be willing to come and model their finished work.
I hope so, yeah. Either way, I'm going to coerce them to give me permission to share photos of them with everyone.
Good.
Okay, I found a picture. And there it is.
Oh, all right.
That's a nice photo.
These are the 10 men who sat around knitting for 4 days, Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And that's really basically all we did. We laughed a lot. But people who knit really like to laugh a lot.
No, we don't.
Looks like a fun group.
Yeah, what, I'm concerned. What happened to the fellow on the right's facial hair?
Hmm.
Did he lose it during the meeting?
Yeah, I think he did.
Poor thing.
It's a very nice picture.
Yeah, it was a fun group.
Okay. I delivered my mother her sweater this week
Mm.
on Monday, and she did a gratitude. she very much enjoyed it. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
beautiful.
But I didn't get a picture of the two of us wearing our almost but not quite matching sweaters.
Oh, that would be nice.
Another time. Let's see. Well, I have some things to share this week. This is the progress on
Good.
the silk and linen piece.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh,
Started last week.
nice.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Those are my
Colour
colors.
for someone
I'd
like
wear
that.
that.
Mm,
It is sort of Tim colored as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
There he is. But yeah, I don't know.
Hi,
I
Tim.
like it.
It-
The
It
drape
looks
is really
very
nice.
springy, summery, and
Fabric
the
feels
good.
drape looks
Remember,
light
I
and lovely too.
talked about the cast on that I chose.
Mm.
So now you can see why. It's very,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of
Mhm.
structure in that cast on, but the profile is very slim. It's not a bulky cast on at all.
Wow.
So
I
it
like
holds everything in place, and I'm pleased with it. So it's at the point where it's taking me 2 hours to finish a stripe of color.
Mm.
I am continuing increases at the inner edges to have a sort of waterfall effect in the front of the sweater when it's done, or top, whatever it is. But I wanted to share the handouts that I did in session 1 of my class.
Oh,
Nice.
So
they're
Oh,
nice. Yes.
I gave them some diagrams of the different
Very good.
sweater types available, so they could choose from them. And then I have a diagram where I did some of the modifications that we've seen, so that they can see the profile, like different things that they could do in the class to alter the silhouette of the pattern.
uh-huh.
And then
Oh,
I gave-
neat.
Oh,
I gave
look at
them
that.
coloring pages. This is what we did in session 1. So this is one I put together in my software, but with my digital marker set. But I gave them each a blank sheet like this, just with like 6 very faint silhouettes for them to draw on, just like brainstorm, make pictures of, like, this is a design process. This is part of many people's design processes. Just draw things you think would be cool. And if you see one that looks cool to you, we will figure out how to make it. So it was very cool seeing the different ways people approach that kind of task. So I had 2 of my students filled in 2 of the drawings and like compared them. And then one of my students just like going crazy with the markers and had like 6 different things, stripes of different colors, experimenting with color palettes and where she wanted her lace to start and stop. The like A-line shaping straight down. It was really, really cool. So they've all gone home to swatch some stitch patterns, and we'll next week we'll talk about all those things, like measuring the gauge and like how to incorporate different type techniques and stitch patterns. If you're putting in a lace pattern, where do you start? How do you do it? What do you need to tell the machine to get a good multiple for putting in a lace repeat, you know?
That's great.
It's, I don't know, I feel invigorated. I'm really enjoying this, and the group of students is really great.
How many are in the class?
3.
All right.
Oh, you're not including me, huh? And Tim.
Go to it, Tim. Tell him
Tim is
that.
sitting in. I'm making it do it. Do you want to show your swatch, Tim?
Sure, I'll get it.
Tim is doing a fun, so he's got some yarn that he dyed up here for an event a few years ago that has just been sitting now. Like, I think everyone's bought what they wanted of it. So he took all the rest of it, and it's a sweater's quantity for him. And it's a variegated yarn. I will show it for Tim. Tim, would you like to describe your swatch?
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
so see, what did I do? Anytime I was handling a the darkest blue, I would purl the stitch. And so that's why, and then I did the reverse on half of it. So to try and determine which I liked better, but I determined I'm gonna do when I'm holding the darkest color, I will purl it so that then it kind of randomly will highlight another color that's underneath. And then the darker color will recede into the back.
yeah.
This is sort of a random texturized fun thing. So, Tim, do you have your sheets? Your little creative sheets? I can show you. So on Tim's little coloring page, he it's like, this is what I did. I broke out markers and colored pencils. It's like, okay, this is a real knitting class, but we're doing art projects first.
Adult coloring is all the rage, you know.
So you can see there's different ways of managing the colors, different cuff like treatments, necklines, just to sort of stripes in case he runs short, what that would look like. So that's how our class
That's great.
went.
Very, very, very fun.
Right.
Oh,
I love it.
Oh, also I made this.
Oop.
Oh,
Oh my
That's what
Cute.
Tim did.
It's so cute.
It's adorable.
Oh,
but they're not.
His little hat was improvised.
they do.
that's cute.
Yep.
Oh, you're warm. I'm sitting here freezing. It's supposed to snow a little bit later.
It is suddenly sweltering in this building, or I am having a hot flash. Having a hot flash.
I heard on the news that San Francisco had a record low this morning. It got all the way down to 39.
Wow.
For San Francisco, that is low.
Yes, for San Francisco, that's low.
I know.
But
We
there's
were
this-
20, we were 23 this morning.
We were 20.
Yeah.
We were 19.
The good thing you left Boulder when you did, Frank. We had another snowstorm and it got down to -6 or something.
Oh.
Oh, no. Oh.
I cannot wait to go to California. I have to say.
Oh. It's
Even if it
50
is
degrees
39,
here right
right?
now.
It's 50.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice and balmy, if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Except for in here where I am.
Well, does anybody else have something to show us they're working on?
I do.
Who said that?
Sidra.
Sidra. Oh, there you are.
So I'm working on the Ravensclaw.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
Oh,
it's
you're
awesome.
double knitting. It's so lovely.
I'm
yeah.
working on the R.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'd be working on it now, but I can't count and talk.
Ah,
Watch TV and I can't count.
And you're on the section where the two pieces are not mirrored, right?
Correct.
They're
So,
asymmetrical.
yeah, so the R goes both ways.
Oh, that's tricky.
It is. I mean, I'm looking at this chart, it's like, I can't figure that one out.
Oh my
Whoa.
gosh.
Wow.
It
Wow.
looks like one of those things where you put the little lens and go back and forth and it makes a little animated, those things.
And other than that, I'm swatchy for a sweater.
Well, when you finish that, Ron and I both have the R. So,
Right. In fact, if you go as far as O and two N's.
Yes, yes, would be invisible.
Judith, how have you been?
Great. It was just how do you say, conflict of schedule time. I couldn't be two places at the same time. So
I thought maybe you had gone on vacation, someplace.
no, no.
Now that you're
Yes, that's
retired, right?
Well, I'm okay staying home or around. I don't mind.
Judith,
how I
what time is it there?
Almost 6:30. Time for supper soon.
Yeah.
Oh, in the evening, okay.
Yeah. And it's cold.
I bet. How
Really
cold is it?
Well, with the wind chill factor, it's around -20.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe it got a little warmer, but this afternoon it was -14 with the winds, so
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
it should be colder.
So Judith wins frostbite bingo.
Yeah. Wow.
What's that?
Nothing. It's very cold where you are.
How do you have like dogs and take them out in the weather like
You
that?
don't.
Oh, you
You
don't.
just don't. But I see a lot of people walking their dogs in the streets or going to the park, and some of them, some smaller dogs have little tiny slippers, or I don't know, socks. I don't know how to call them, And
Galoshes.
Yeah.
booties, yeah,
Galoshes.
booties,
Booties.
and they have some kind of a sweater or not blanket, but small sweaters. But it depends of the type of dog. Some big dogs have their fur and seems to be okay.
Oh yeah. Huskies.
Yeah.
Mary, what are you working on?
Right now, nothing, because I had a procedure on my eye yesterday. There
Ooh,
was a blur behind the lens that was implanted for my removal of the cataract. And the blur is removed by laser. So today and all of yesterday after the procedure, I have huge floaters.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they assured me, the doctor assured me the floaters would disappear in a day or two, but floaters are very interesting shapes sometimes.
Yes. Like butterflies.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for understanding, but.
I got both. I got two of them on both eyes.
Okay, how long did it take you to clear up?
It took about 3 or 4 days, and then your brain just dismisses.
Oh,
it.
stop seeing them.
Yep, and every once in a while they'll come back, but you don't pay
Okay.
attention to it.
not to worry.
No,
No, I'm not worrying. I've heard people say it was great and they saw better, and so. But I can't knit.
for a long time, I always thought there were flies buzzing next to me. And I kept looking, I'm going, where is this fly? And it
What's
wasn't.
that crawling on that floor?
We're getting close to the end. Does anybody else have something to show us?
I will. I got too much stuff. I finished the Phrancko sweater for my friend.
Hey,
Yay,
done.
that looks nice.
Oh,
wow.
So that I'll be giving him. I got a, what do you call them? UFOs. I got a scarf I've started and I have to finish.
I remember that.
There we
That's
go.
really pretty.
Oh,
that's looking good.
Interesting little cages things.
Mhm.
So I got that. What else do I have? Oh, I'm doing a baby sweater for a friend at work.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Oh.
cute.
So
you work with a baby?
yeah, I do. And then I'm starting that where is this thing? Get this off. That Stephen West Dusselman sweater.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't talk and do anything with the sweater. You got to keep counting. So yeah, every 8 rows is a different pattern.
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to blow up my brain. So
wow. Doing all those things at the same time would do that.
yes. Well, I get bored with one and I pick up the other. So,
Yep.
you know, everybody does that.
Yes.
And then I seen that Jared Flood, that Ivon sweater he made, the pattern.
Uh-huh.
I said, oh, that's my next one. Too many things out there I like to do.
Yeah.
So I do knit occasionally. So.
Yeah, there is some knitting that goes on among this.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Anybody else?
Hmm.
I know you're all working on stuff.
You're keeping
No, we're
secrets.
just looking down.
Go on, I'll go then. I've just finished my socks that I were working on. So
There you go, Jenny.
yeah, oh, I can't get the colour. So yes, my they're green. You can't see because I can't get the light right. But I've just finished my team socks.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Was that an afterthought heel?
It's the fish lips kiss heel.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a short row heel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I just found them off about 15 minutes ago. Just finished.
Ah,
Very nice.
great.
And you didn't ring the bell so we could applaud. I can't help but feel somewhat cheated.
Yes. I managed to start my new sweater while we were talking.
all right.
We have made all the progress. I'm on the shoulder shaping row of the back, row 2.
Well, row 2 counts as extra because of all the short rows. So
That's right. And it's also the most complicated one to try to be having a conversation and do at the same time.
Mm,
I'm sewing my sleeves together.
ah,
It's my first knitted flat garment. So
Beautiful.
wow.
It's a nice pattern.
Oh, isn't
Yeah.
that beautiful?
Very pretty.
Yeah, look at that.
Love
that's
those
cool.
tables.
there.
I know, isn't it funny? You can't, it's reverse of how you think it is.
Yeah.
Karen, did you make your sweater?
Yes, I did.
That's beautiful.
Wow, that's
Also
gorgeous.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
That's a Kate Davies design.
Mm.
That all seed stitch on the sleeves?
Yes,
Wow,
yeah.
nice.
Oh, wow.
That was a lot of seed stitch.
Yes,
That's a
That
lot
is
of seed
a
stitch.
lot to do.
yes, that is a lot. But
It's a
seed
beautiful
stitch,
sweater.
yeah, seed stitch comes out nice though.
Yeah, it does.
Mm.
I like it. I
Yeah.
love a good texture.
You can tell it's a group of knitters because the cable panels are beautiful, lovely done. What we want to talk about is all that seed stitch.
I was done with seed stitch when I finished that.
So, I think that shows some shared experience on our
Yeah. Well, and it's Stephen West pattern, and next panel is all seed stitch.
Oh.
good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Have fun.
I sit there with the television off and count.
Well, it's about that time. Thank you for another wonderful hour.
Been
Thank
fun.
you.
And
Thank you,
Cathy, let's get that recording from last week somehow.
I'm gonna send it right now, now that I'm
Okay.
thinking of it.
Yeah, and I'll post that as soon as I get it.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, have a nice
Bye.
week.
Bye.